Okay, so the first lesson, 5-1, we're actually splitting it up into two parts. 5-1A is classifying triangles, and then tomorrow we'll do angles of triangles and more like calculating them we're doing today. So to start off, it's going to start off very familiar, like pretty simple, which is nice. It has a triangle here. This chapter 5, is all about triangles. So it starts with the symbol of a triangle, which when you see a triangle named, so this is a triangle, three-sided shape, the symbol we use is just like a little triangle like that. And then to name the triangle, we name it by the points, like the corners. So we name it by triangle WXY. WXY. So you can name the point, you have to name the points in order. You could go WXY, you could go counterclockwise, YXW, you could start with XYW, but it has to be in order, so like connecting the dots. Then the sides of the triangle are segments, so we can name the segments like segment WX, segment XY, and segment WY. So it has three sides, basically. And vertices are corners. So the vertices are the points here, point W, point X, and point Y. Then we have the angles of the triangle. So there are three angles. There's an angle here, here, and here. To name the angles, you would say, okay, X, W, Y, and that would refer to this angle here, X, W, Y. You have to name the letters in order, and the middle letter has to be the vertex of whatever angle you're referring to. Also have the angle WXY, so this angle here. And then this angle here, X, Y, W. Okay, so triangles can be classified in two ways, either by their angles or by their sides. All triangles have at least two acute angles, but the third is used to classify the triangle. Draw examples of each type of triangle. So you've definitely seen this before, so some of it is a review. Before we get into the actual triangle, remember an acute angle is an angle that's less than 90 degrees. Less than 90 degrees is an acute angle. Then a right angle is an angle like this, and it's 90 degrees. And then an obtuse angle is like this, and it's more than 90 degrees. So in an acute triangle, all the angles are acute, meaning less than 90 degrees. So like this, all the angles less than 90, or like this, there's no obtuse angles. So maybe this is like 60, 60, and 60, like they're all less than 90, or maybe this is, all the angles have to add up to 90. So let's say this is, I don't know, 30, and then this is 75 and 75. Remember, all the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Then an obtuse triangle would have one obtuse angle, It can only have one because if it had more than one, like the sides wouldn't connect. But an obtuse angle like this, and then connect this here. So maybe this angle is like 120. And then 30, and then 30. So it has one obtuse angle right here, and then two acute angles. Okay, and then a right triangle look like this. It has one right angle. Maybe that's 90, and then this is 30 degrees, this is 60 degrees. So it still has two acute angles, but one right angle, and that makes it a right triangle. And then the last one here, an equiangular triangle. Equi meaning equal. All angles are equal. All angles are equal. So all the angles are the same measure. My pen is dying. So all three of these are the same. To find this angle measure, you can just take 180 divided by 3 because all of them are the same measure and you get 60 degrees. So in an equiangular triangle, all the angles are 60 degrees. So an equiangular triangle would also be an acute triangle because all the angles are acute. Another thing that happens is when you have all the same angle measure, you can also say that it's an equilateral triangle. All the sides are the same too, and that just happens. Okay, then over to the right. I already got it. Over here. A triangle will always have two acute angles. It's the measure of the third angle that determines the type of triangle. Triangles can also be classified according to the number of congruent sides. There's a typo here. Sides they have. Draw examples of each type of triangle. You've seen these likely before. It's probably been a couple years. An equilateral triangle, again, equal means that all the sides are equal. All sides are congruent. So it looks like this. And all the sides are the same length. And with all the sides being the same length, also all the angles are the same as well. And for an isosceles triangle, you've seen this before. Isosceles triangle, two congruent sides. So it has at least two congruent sides. So on Alex, one of the things that happens is an equilateral triangle is also an isosceles triangle because it has two congruent sides. So that's why I say at least two congruent sides. And then also with the two congruent sides, like opposite those congruent sides are equal angles. So opposite the congruent sides, you have two congruent angles. And then the last one, scalene triangle, all sides are different lengths. All sides are different lengths. So in this triangle, we have, let's say this is 3, this is 5, this is 7. All the sides are different lengths. And that means all the angles will be different too. Okay, so for the examples, it says classify each triangle by its angles and by its sides. So we're going to use this chart essentially to classify it by the angles, and then this one to classify by its side. So for the first one, for A, it looks like it has an obtuse angle right here. Obtuse angle. So therefore, this is an obtuse triangle. And then it looks like all the sides are different lengths, so it's also a scalene triangle. For B, it shows that we have a right angle right here. Right angle. So therefore, this is a right triangle. If it has one right angle, then it's a right triangle. And then also it shows that two of the sides are the same length, so it's an isosceles triangle as well. Okay, for this one, it shows all the sides are the same length and all the angles are the same, so it's equilateral and equiangular. I need to throw out this pen. What's that? Oh yeah, we could even be more, yeah, we could, yes, it is an acute triangle as well. And we could also say it's an isosceles triangle too, because it has at least two congruent sides. Then number 2, so they're going to have us do a little bit of solving. It says find the measures of the sides of the isosceles triangle ABC. So isosceles means that two sides are the same, which they are. It wants to find the length of each of the sides. What we can do to find x is, since these two are equal, we can set those equal and solve for x. So we can put 4x plus 1 equals 5x minus 0.5 and solve for x. And then once we have x, we can plug it in to find each side length. So to solve this here, just subtract 4x from both sides. I get 1 equals x minus 0.5 plus 0.5. 1.5 equals x. So I found x, which is important, but it's not the final answer. After we find x, we have to plug it in to find the side length. So 4 times 1.5 plus 1. 4 times 1.5 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So we get 7 for this. And then we can plug in 1.5 here, but since these are equal, this will also equal to 7. And then for AB right here, 9 times 1.5 minus 1. 9 times 1.5 is 13.5. Minus 1 is 12.5. So that is this length here. Okay, number 3, it says solve for x, find the length of each side. It says triangle FGH is equilateral with these expressions for each side. So I'm going to draw an equilateral triangle, label it FGH so I can see what's going on. And then I'm going to label the sides as it does. FG is x plus 5. GH is 3x minus 9. And FH is 2x minus 2. So all these sides are congruent. Okay, so now that I have it set up, in an equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal. So I can set two of these equal to each other to solve for x. So x plus 5 equals 3x minus 9, and I can use that to find x. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. 5 equals 2x minus 9. Add 9 to both sides. 2x equals 14. Divide by 2, and x equals 7. So an important piece of the puzzle, but it's not the final answer yet. Then once I have x, I can plug it into any one of these. So 7 plus 5 is 12. And then because it's equilateral, these are all 12. You could plug in 7. 3 times 7 would be 21 minus 9 would be 12. 2 times 7, 14 minus 2 is 12. So Okay. So that's just all for the lesson today. You guys have a good amount of time to get your homework done. Do homework 5-1A on Schoology first. It should go pretty quick. And then start your weekly ALEKS. Definitely front load ALEKS with Halloween being at the end of the week. See if you can get 3 done today. They're pretty like quick answer and you should be able to get 2 done. Okay. Ready, set, go.